So let me start with, it is May 28th, Saturday. It is 9:08 a.m. and this is the Think and Grow Rich Saturday call. Think and Grow Rich is an amazing book. It was published in 1937, just about 7 years, almost 8 years after the Depression. And that was not just a depression that happened here in the United States. It was a worldwide depression. And so you have to understand that period in history and what was going on. And Napoleon Hill had written in 1928, he had written a book called Laws of Success, which he originally published in 1925 as a correspondence course. And consequently, in 1927, he published it, and it immediately sold out, millions of copies. It was the go-go, or the Roaring Twenties as they were called. And so Napoleon immediately became a millionaire from the sale of that book. Consequently, there was an attempt made on his life, and he ended up having to hide out in the Ozarks to avoid getting assassinated by some gangsters that he had written an article about how they were paying off the police department to allow them to do their bootlegging. That was the time period. So in 1937, the original title of Think and Grow Rich was The 13 Laws of Success. And his publisher felt that it was too similar to the existing laws of success. So he told him to work on a better title. And so his author, he said, I've been trying and I can't come up with anything. So the publisher said, well, you know, how about use your noodle to get the boodle? And Napoleon Hill said to him, you'll ruin me. That's not a good title. No way I'm going to use that title. You'll ruin my reputation. So the publisher said, well, you have 24 hours to come up with a better title, or that's what we're going with. And so he went to bed that night and he asked his subconscious mind and infinite intelligence for some guidance and a better title. And when he woke up in the morning, he said, I got it. Think and grow rich. Now, if you take those words, use your noodle, back then in 1920s language or 1930s language, noodle meant your brain. Use your noodle to get the boodle. Boodle meaning money. So Think and Grow Rich was just really an outgrowth of the original publisher's title. And so Think and Grow Rich was published, and it immediately sold out. People in 1937 were ready for the message. They had just gone through 8 years of a depression. There were still soup lines. Jobs were just starting to return to the economy. Everything was starting to happen. World War II Hitler had come into power. Mussolini was in power. Stalin was in power. All the major players to start World War II were in play. And it was starting to appear that, again, there would be another world war. And what the country needed at that time was to get its hope back, its spirit back, its positive mental attitude. And Napoleon Hill was in no small measure part of that. In fact, Napoleon Hill served 3 presidents, Woodrow Wilson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Franklin. I don't think he did Theodore Roosevelt. Woodrow Wilson, and I know Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In fact, he headed up the propaganda department, was an advisor to the propaganda department for Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and actually penned the line, "You have nothing to fear but fear itself." That was part of Napoleon Hill's magic with words. And so Napoleon Hill published Think and Grow Rich. The book itself has sold more than 100 million copies. It is the 3rd best-selling work in the world. I believe that was the last statistic I looked at. It may have changed since then. And it has created more millionaires than Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple, you name the company. It has produced more millionaires and billionaires than any other book of its kind, and even many corporations. Some of the people that you can see in the image here are people that have credited Think and Grow Rich to their success. First one is Daymon John from Shark Tank and, of course, from FUBU. He read Think and Grow Rich at age 15. And to this day, he has a list of 10 goals that he reads out loud twice a day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. And as you can see, he promotes the fact that it was Think and Grow Rich that gave him the inspiration, the motivation, the belief, and the desire to achieve what he has achieved in life. Oprah read the book 13 times in 1 year. 13 times. Created a statement of what her goal was, got crystal clear on it. Bruce Lee, he wrote his statement out that he wanted to be the highest paid Asian, at that time, I think he called it Asian movie star in the world, and he wanted to achieve by 1970 $10 million in income. Tony Robbins, Think and Grow Rich. That's the gateway for all motivational speakers. Tony read Think and Grow Rich when he was a young man. Joseph McClendon, his #1 trainer, read Think and Grow Rich at age 18, and it was instrumental in turning his life around because at that time he was homeless. Mark Cuban has used all the principles in Think and Grow Rich to allow him to build the fortune that he has. If you talk to anybody that has made money, they immediately have identified with the principles in Think and Grow Rich. What we do in this group is we have a different take on Think and Grow Rich because a lot of people have read it but don't apply the principles. Okay? Who on this group, other than mastermind people or people that have been with me for a while, who here has read Think and Grow Rich? Just say your first name and say, I have. Anybody?
Andrea.
Sure, go ahead. Andreas?
Cecilia, I have.
You have? Okay. So let me ask you both. Do you have a definite main purpose statement written out that you read out loud every day, a minimum of 2 times?
Yeah.
You do? How long
Not
have you...
as perfection.
Huh?
Not as perfection. No, not every day, but I do have one which I update every like 6 months or so just to monitor myself.
Are you setting what kind? If you're updating it every 6 months, what's the deadline for your goal?
Like 6 months.
Okay.
Every 6 months.
Would you share your statement with us?
Oh, I don't have it in front of me right now. Okay. I'm not.
Okay. Well, let me show you what happens with our group. That's a little bit different. Hey, Veronica, are you on the call?
Yes, sorry, I was on mute.
No problem. Would you be kind enough to share your statement with us? #1,
Sure.
Is your statement memorized?
Some parts, yeah.
And how many times a day are you saying your statement?
Minimum of 10 times.
Okay. Would you share it with us?
Sure. It is September 18, 2016, and I, Veronica Rivera, a.k.a. Shira. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm receiving over $8,000 in monthly income, from which $4,000 comes from my fusion business. I make 10 new phone contacts daily, sign up 3 new members monthly, and make 3 business meetings weekly. I easily and effortlessly achieve my company's goals monthly. By communicating weekly targets, I coach and train 1 employee daily and schedule 1 business mastermind meeting monthly to become the #1 team for the company. I am punctual, scheduled, spontaneous, open-minded, fun, energetic, responsible, and health-conscious woman that arises at 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. I'm experiencing great health and waking up daily with lots of energy. I'm now running daily and completed my first marathon. I'm a worthy, deserving, beautiful, gorgeous, sexy, and attractive woman of desire. I'm living in my own beautiful, organized 2-bedroom Baywatch apartment. I have a 54-inch smart TV with surround sound, a beautiful new bedroom and office room, washed and dry new refrigerator. I enjoy driving my new black with red design silver Nissan Juke car. I enjoy dancing twice a week and attend 2 dance classes weekly. I effortlessly exercise daily, prep my meals weekly, and drink my chocolate daily, thus ensuring my success. I'm a flexible, understanding, patient, born-lover leader that people love because I love them. As a result of my genuine effort, I'm now experiencing unparalleled love, joy, excitement, peak energy, time, and financial freedom and ultimate fulfillment. I'm now visiting daily, planning and organizing for my plan to help my sister and the mother financially whenever they are in need. I now enjoy yearly vacations with my family. I enjoy living in the Tampa area of Florida. I love my 5-bedroom, 2-bath with a built-in pool home in the Tampa area. I absolutely love my position as a leadership coach for UTs with the Tony Robbins organization, which pays me $10,000 per month or more. Thank you, God, for it is done.
It is done.
It is done.
It is done.
Okay, a little different than what you probably have, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me share my goal with you. When I speak to people, here's what they tell me their goals are. I want to make more money. I want a better job. I'd like to be doing, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year. Let me tell you one thing. Unless you're crystal clear on what you want in life, you'll never have it. So my goal statement sounds like this. It is my birthday, February 20th, 2017, and I, Bert Superman Herna, am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving over $100,000 in monthly residual income from my global enterprise businesses. I easily and effortlessly accomplish all my tasks, which includes creating an imperative important list daily, 20 contacts per day, 15 presentations per day, 10 presentations per day and 15 new clients per week, thus ensuring my success. I experience joy each day knowing that what I am doing is being of service to others and to myself. I am a young, vibrant, handsome, attractive, and super sexy man of action. I am a lean, fit, muscular, 170-pound man that works out at least 3 times per week without fail. I am a worthy, deserving, gorgeous, and beautiful man that is open to receive all that has been given to me and more. I am disciplined, organized, scheduled, responsible, punctual, single-minded, and laser-focused leader who completes all my tasks. I am a great listener, flexible, understanding, and patient in dealing with others. As a result of my concentrated effort and steadfast determination, I am now experiencing unparalleled love, joy, happiness, fun, romance, time and financial freedom, abundance, peace of mind, and excellent health. I enjoy the unbelievable pleasure of driving my brand new lunar metallic blue with a burlwood trim Mercedes-Benz SL 550 convertible down the sun-drenched, palm tree-laden roads of Clearwater, Florida. I have saved over $100,000 in liquid cash this year, and everything has been resolved in my favor because I am truly blessed. I am now envisioning daily, planning, and organizing for my plan to move to the Clearwater area of Florida by June 6, 2016, to own a luxury $1.5 million condominium with 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a spectacular oceanfront view of Clearwater Beach. I enjoy cruising the waterways and the islands of the Caribbean in my new white with a black stripe Sea Ray 260 Sundancer, and I live a life of fun, adventure, and travel. By February 20th, 2020, I am so happy and grateful now that I have a net worth in excess of $20 million. I thank you, God, for it is done.
It is
done.
It is done.
It is done. So my statement is memorized, and I do my statement between 10 to 20 times a day. Now, most people read the book. 100 million people have read it. But how many people actually take the time to become crystal clear? Now, let me ask you this, whoever has read the book and hasn't written out a statement, who do you think has a better chance of achieving their goals? Me, Veronica, with her statement, or somebody that doesn't have a clear mental picture of what they want? The answer is whoever has a clear mental picture, because we tend to draw to ourselves that which we set out for ourselves. We will never accomplish, everything in life must be first mentally accomplished before it can be physically accomplished. And that's what we focus on. And in the Mastermind group, I take you through this process step by step to get you crystal clear, and then we plug you in with people that are of the same mind, people that will motivate you, support you, inspire you, and help you in creating plans to achieve your goal. Because one mind is not enough to create a plan. If you had a perfect plan, you would already have what you want. So where did this all come from? Where did that statement come from? The statement consists of 4 pillars of life, 4 areas. And those 4 areas are financial and career, family and relationships, physical, fitness and health, and contribution, spirituality, and growth. And so we don't focus on what Napoleon Hill did alone. Napoleon Hill's statement is flawed in a few ways. Remember, it was written in 1937. We know today that the subconscious mind does not know the difference between a real event and an imagined one. So we put our statement in the present tense. We also know that if we focus only on money, we will achieve the money. However, because we're going to get laser focused, as a result of reading your statement every day, you will become laser focused, you will become absolutely goal-directed and self-motivated. That's not even a question. So if you are here today and you want to really learn how to get your life working for you and how to have whatever you want in life, then this is what you need to focus on, what we're talking about today. And that is that you need to have a goal statement that incorporates the 4 pillars. And the goal statement must necessarily include what you intend to give in return for the money that you will earn. We set our statement up so that it's a 12-month goal. The deadline is 12 months or our birthday, whichever comes later. Why 12 months? Because when you write out your statement, it's not about achieving the goal. It's about who you need to become in order to accomplish the goal. The goal and the rewards are the benefits that you get for making the changes. Our statement is based on be, do, have. Who do you need to be? What do you need to do in order to get what you want to have? But you will never have what you want until you begin to develop a belief in yourself and your abilities. Every guru will tell you that the how doesn't matter, and it really doesn't. And they will tell you what you need is a huge why. And I'm going to tell you that that's not yet the right formula. Because even with a huge why, if you don't believe that you can take the actions and achieve the results, you will never take the first step. So the first step is to believe in yourself and in the goal. I'll give you an example. I recently had a new business model, and I was talking to a guy who makes about 50 grand a year. And I told him that I wanted to make $5,000 in 7 days with this new business model. That was my 1-week goal. And of course, it was within the realm of what I've done before, so there was absolute belief that I could do it. And I said, what do you think? And he said, well, you probably could do it, but it may take more than a week. You might need, maybe 10 days or 15 days or maybe a month. So I called up Alan Nagel, the gentleman you see to your left. Alan currently is earning $1.5 million per month. I'm sorry, did you hear that? $1.5 million per month. And I said, Alan, I set a goal to make $5,000 in a week. He said, really, that low? What's the difference between my friend who said maybe it might take a month and Alan who said, why so low? Alan makes $1.5 million a month. What does he believe?
That it's possible to make $1.5 million a month.
Yeah. And because he believes it, he will take action on it. So what do you believe? Now, Alan is an interesting individual. Alan, as you can see from the picture, if you look at to your left, his right hand, it's a flipper, okay? It's a thumb, and then the other fingers are fused together. Alan's mom took medication when she was pregnant with Alan to avoid a miscarriage, and that medication caused him to be born with birth defects. Alan only has one leg, and he has a flipper for a hand. And very early on in life, the kids in school, he didn't go to a special needs school, he went to a regular school, and the kids would make fun of him. In fact, Alan had to wear a helmet in school because of that one leg. He doesn't have a lot of sensation because he doesn't have a leg from the hip below from the hip down. So there's no feeling there. So he doesn't know if the leg is planted right, and so he would fall. And they wanted to make sure he didn't, suffer a concussion or a head injury, so they made him wear a helmet to school. So as you can imagine, children being what they are, they're not exactly too forgiving or accepting of anything that's strange. And so Alan, for his entire life, was made fun of. And so that can have an effect on your feelings of worthiness, your feelings of deservedness, and your self-image. And so Alan really didn't like school. The only time that he felt free in life was when he started learning how to surf, because in the water, he said, I was the same as everybody else. I could go anywhere I wanted in the water. I didn't need to use my legs. However, Alan became a very lucky individual that Alan is from Hawaii, and Alan was very fortunate in that he met a gentleman by the name of Joseph Green. And Joseph Green, at the time that Alan met him, was 89 years old and was living in Hawaii. He was retired. And Joseph Green is one of 3 people that was personally mentored by Napoleon Hill. Joseph Green spent most of his life being mentored and working for Napoleon Hill. And so he had started a mastermind group, a study group, to teach people what he had learned from Napoleon Hill and what he had learned from Think and Grow Rich. And Alan was fortunate enough to run into Joseph Green, and was fortunate enough to be one of 6 people admitted into this mastermind group. And so for 2.5 years, Alan studied and did everything that Joseph Green told him to do. Alan, by the time he was 35 years old, had made $39 million selling yo-yos. Okay? And he retired because he had made more than enough money. He bought himself a private, built himself a home, a multi-million-dollar home on a private beach in Honolulu, Hawaii. He was already in paradise, and he retired. And 5 years later, he came out of retirement, and he began getting involved in a business. And this business involved recruiting people. And he wanted to make sure that people, he knew that he could succeed because he had done that. But he wanted to make sure that the people he brought in would also be successful. So Alan decided that he would teach everybody how to write a statement, which is what we call it, a definite main purpose statement, DMPS. And he would teach them how to write it. He would teach them how to say it, and that they would also read the self-confidence formula. Does anybody here know what the self-confidence formula is, besides Mastermind and people that have been on the call for a while?
No.
Okay. If you go into Think and Grow Rich and look at the chapter on faith, you will find the self-confidence formula. Now, in addition to doing our statement, we also do the self-confidence formula. Would anybody like to hear the self-confidence formula?
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So since mine is, Toby, are you memorized on the formula? Yeah. Would you do the formula for us?
Sure thing. First, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to render such action. Second, I know that the dominating thoughts of my mind will reproduce themselves in outward physical action and transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. Third, I know that through the principle of auto-suggestion, any thought or desire that I persistently hold in my mind will seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. Fourth, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop until I have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Fifth, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing a love for all humanity because I know that a negative attitude can never bring me success. I cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. I sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud daily with full faith that it's continually influencing my thoughts and action, affirming that I am a self-reliant, strong, powerful, successful man of action. Thank you, God, for it is done.
It is done.
Done. It is done.
It's done.
It is done.
So why do we read the self-confidence formula? Because you can never have enough self-confidence. What really is self-confidence? Self-confidence is belief in yourself and in your abilities. So the first thing we do is we read our statement out loud, and then we read the self-confidence formula after that. So as long as I got Toby on the line, Toby, would you share with us your statement?
It is 21 December 2016, and I, Dr. Torbjörn Stenson, the Rocket Man Bergstrom, am so happy and grateful now that I am receiving at least $100,000 monthly in residual income from my book sales, real estate investments, and other business interests. I easily and effortlessly accomplish my daily tasks, which include writing for 2 hours, focusing on marketing for 1 hour, posting at least one video, following up with 2 clients and 4 prospects. This year alone, I've helped over 20 consulting clients improve their profitability. I've acquired 5 manufacturing companies, 4 commercial properties, given over $100,000 in charitable contributions, and I have become a WPI trustee. I maintain 165 pounds by eating right, drinking hydrating fluids, and exercising daily. I have a loving relationship with Shui. I include her in my decisions, sharing my successes and my failures, knowing that together we form a mastermind that can create anything we desire. I experience joy each day knowing that what I am doing is being of service to others and to myself. I am a loving, lean, worthy, beautiful, respectful, scheduled, organized, laser-focused leader who completes all of his tasks and meets all of his deadlines. As a result of my genuine efforts and understanding the universe, I'm experiencing an unparalleled freedom of time, money, love, personal growth, and contribution. I travel by private jet, and I enjoy bringing family and friends to locations around the world. And I am pumped when I drive my jet black V12 bi-turbo S65 Mercedes. I'm now envisioning daily, planning and organizing for my plan to establish a net worth of over $100 million, living with my family on the island of Kauai, purchasing a Gulfstream G550, and giving over $30 million to support manufacturing education. Thank you, God, for it is done.
It is done.
It is done.
It is done.
Thank you, Toby. And let's have one more person. Dewan, would you read your statement?
Sure. It is my birthday, August 6, 2017, and I, Dewan, the unstoppable Zulu warrior Elam, am so happy and grateful now to receive $50,000 a month from my global real estate investment and medical support businesses. I easily and without any effort accomplish my tasks of locating 100 properties per week, submit offers on each property. I complete at least 10 wholesale real estate deals per week. I complete at least 6 rehab projects per month. Place 100 real estate and medical supply business band signs in each of my markets at least once a week. I place ads twice daily on Facebook and Craigslist for medical supply business that will generate a continuous flow of leads that will push my business to the pinnacle of the industry. I experience joy in being of service to others and myself. I'm a lean, fit, muscular, cut up, 225 pounds, a sexy motherfucker that works out 5 times a week. I run 3 miles a day and adhere to a pescatarian diet as my life depends on. I'm in a loving, caring, committed relationship with my wife, Janice. She is the woman of my dreams. We go twice a month and I cater to her every need. She is a loving, caring, open-minded, and supportive woman of my dreams. I am a loving, caring, respectful, and attentive father to my 4 children, Kenny, Dewan Jr., Nasir, and Annette. They're the reason that I exist. I'm a relentless, laser-focused, hyper-intelligent, organized, understanding, patient, flexible, alpha male leader of action. I absorb information, retain, and process said information at 10 times the speed of light. I am worthy and deserving of all the good that is entering my life. As a result of my concentrated effort and unparalleled determination, I'm experiencing love, joy, happiness, and financial freedom. As a result of accomplishing my goals, I'm experiencing true freedom. I travel the world when I want, how I want, and with whom I want. I'm envisioning for myself and the ones I love a life of abundance of health, wealth, love, adventure, and freedom. I drive on a daily basis a 2017 black-on-black Chevy SS2 1LE, paid in full, straight off the lot. I'm 100% debt-free. I have saved over $100,000 in liquid cash and have given away the first of 100 homes to a deserving family. I have a net worth of over $30 million by 2023, and I own over 300 income-producing cash-flowing properties. I am going to make it happen. It must happen. It is happening. Thank you, God, for it is done, done, done.
It is done.
It is
Done.
done.
So,
Bert,
yes.
Bert, I'd like to say something, and forgive me if this is not appropriate. I hope it's okay. Dewan, there's one thing you said that really I'd ask you to think about removing, and that is that your children are the reason that you live. So your life is important in and of itself, and I would ask you to contemplate. That is a way you feel and not something you need to affirm for your future. I try and put in my statement, Bert, you please tell me if this is wrong. I try and put in the things that I need that I don't have. the things that I'm working on, and you love your children, and your children are the reason you live, that's not something you have to affirm. But your life is important on its own. I don't want to take that thought any further. It made me cry.
Yeah. Daymon is just developing his statement. And the other thing you have in there is the word will. You got to take that word out. There is no will. Will means someday, maybe, who knows. You know, I will do it tomorrow. I will. It's I am. It's present tense. Everything in the statement must be present tense. Even when I say by my birthday, February 20th, 2020, I am so happy and grateful. Now that I have a net worth of over $20 million, it's not I will have $20 million. It's I have $20 million. Okay. So just a note.
Got it.
So for the people that are on the call today, what is the real secret of success? Does anybody have a clue yet? What's the secret to success?
To do what you have to do, and you're going to succeed. It's to do what you have to do, and you're going to succeed. If you wrote it, you're going to do it.
Well, that's not necessarily true. If you don't believe you can do it, you'll never do it. Do you? Why do you? If you believe that you could earn $1 million a year, you'd be earning it right now.
That's it.
That's the reality. Whatever you believe, that's what shows up for you. So the key is that you must first believe in yourself and in your abilities. And that's why Alan focuses on the statement and the self-confidence formula. The other gentleman that you see in the picture, if you're on video, is of course Derek Bentley, who's my personal friend and mentor, coach, confidant, and kick-ass accountability buddy. And Derek's wife and Derek, Claudia and Derek, have been with Alan, working with Alan for about 8 years now. When Derek met Alan, Derek was in the real estate business. He was a commercial developer. His family has been in Hollywood for ages, and his father is a makeup artist for for Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, John Travolta, Bruce Willis, a bunch of A-list Hollywood movie stars. And so his entire family's in that business. And Derek, growing up, has a great voice, and he wanted to be an opera singer. And his father used to tell him, screw that. You're going to go into the movie business where the family's at, and that's what you're going to do. And so Derek had a lot of, disagreements with his dad over that. And ultimately, Derek got involved in buying and investing in commercial real estate. And he owned a bunch of commercial real estate in California until about 2008, 2009, 2010, when the real estate market completely collapsed in the United States, and California was one of the first markets for it to collapse. Derek ended up losing all his real estate and eventually had to file bankruptcy. And coming out of the bankruptcy court, he was hit by a car, and he suffered some injuries to his spinal column around the neck area. So he spent 6 months in the hospital, broke, with no job, and his wife supporting him while he was laid up. And the problem with a neck injury is that your neck really is all about your balance. The head is very heavy. So if the neck area is weak, you're not going to be able to walk too well. And so after he left the hospital, he was still convalescing for about a year. And it was around this time that he heard about Alan Nagel. And Alan Nagel is a second-generation Napoleon Hill, because he studied under Mr. Green. And so he went and listened to Alan, and he loved what Alan said about Think and Grow Rich, but he didn't want to get involved in Alan's business. And so he walked out. His wife, Claudia, said, no, I love this. I want to get involved, and I want to go to work with Alan. So she did. And Derek did not do anything. He signed up, but he didn't do anything for 2 years until Alan came over the house, and Claudia was now making 6 figures from her business. And And Alan turned to Derek, and Derek, he said, what are you doing? And Derek at that time was delivering pizzas and working 2 or 3 jobs just to help make ends meet, to contribute, but he really didn't have anything going on. And Claudia was out earning him, and Derek and Alan said to him, what are you waiting for? And so he convinced Derek to go on a bus. Alan tours the United States, Hawaii, Mexico, every country. He's got a bus there. And he basically promotes his Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and his business opportunity. So Derek joined the bus and toured California as they went around marketing their products. And Derek was being worked on personally by Alan on creating his statement. And Derek started by reading his statement twice a day, but there was so many negatives that he had to overcome that he went to 5 times a day, 10 times a day, 15 times a day, and then things started to change. Well, within 6 years, Derek has earned just over $5 million with his company, and Claudia has earned more than $5 million a lot sooner than that. So between them both as a couple, they have earned more than $10 million. Currently, Derek owns a house in California, in Playa del Rey, and he also has a house that he just recently purchased in Hawaii. And so his life has completely transformed, and both Alan and Derek will tell you that what changed their life was the statement, getting crystal clear on what they want, saying it out loud with emotion. Now, this is nothing new. This is all in the chapter on autosuggestion. It's in the chapter on faith. And, this is not about what we do in our mastermind group, and what we do on these calls is we don't try to motivate you. Motivation is a kick in the pants. But what you really need are success habits. You see, motivation is like you getting in your car and having to do this. I want to drive my car. Yeah. Let's drive. That's motivation. A success habit is when you get in the car, you put the key in the ignition, and you drive. It's effortless. It's without any work. It just happens because it's a habit. You can take the word habit and change it to programming. A habit is how you are programmed. And right now, most of us are programmed negatively. Why? Because when we were young, between the ages of 0 and 5, we were imprinted, just like an animal, like a bear or any other animal, we are imprinted with what our parents are. So if your parents had limiting beliefs, which guess what? They did. They imprinted their limiting beliefs in you. You didn't understand it because you had no filter, you had no conscious brain. However, the memory was stored. And later on, you started connecting the dots. Your parents were programmed by their parents. So in essence, who you are is, we could say, is in your DNA. It's in your mental DNA, because we imprint. Just like an animal imprints with its mother, we imprint. So and whoever we're around the most imprints us the most. And when we're young, the memories that you will retain are the ones that have the most emotion. You can probably go back into your memory, and you probably will find an event that happened to you when you were 3, 4, 5 years old. You don't have any idea what happened, but you will remember the event, especially if it has a lot of emotion. For me, when I was 3 years old, I was in a car that went into a ditch in Florida. And I didn't recognize that. I didn't even remember that until one day I was in the Virgin Islands driving on the side of a road on a mountain. And when I looked to the right, I saw a precipice. And all of a sudden, I started getting a panic attack. Now, it's not like I have a fear of heights. I was a paratrooper. I've done high altitude, low opening shoots. I've done regular drops. I mean, I dropped out of everything. High openings, low openings, everything. I've done oxygen drops. You name it. So it wasn't a fear of heights. It was the fact that I was in a car and there was a precipice. And I remember that we got stuck in that ditch, and that memory was so old that I was like, wow. And my new wife, because I was there on our honeymoon, my wife looks at me and she's like, your knuckles are white. And I'm like, this guy needs to slow down. I wasn't even driving. the cab driver was driving, or my buddy actually was driving, and I told him to slow down because I was just freaking out. So the memories that are imprinted on us are the ones that are most emotional. And it's the same thing with our statement. When we read our statement, we do it emotionally and we visualize everything in our statement. That's why you'll hear me say things like, I enjoy the unbelievable pleasure of driving my brand new blue with a lunar blue metallic with a burlwood trim Mercedes-Benz SL 550 convertible down the sun-drenched, palm tree-laden roads of Clearwater, Florida. That gives me a clear mental picture of the car, and it gives me a clear mental picture of what I'm going to do with it. Now that's memorized. You could call me up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. You could say, Bert, tell me your goal. And I'll tell you the same exact thing every single time. Now, if you don't have that type of clarity, if somebody goes up to you, I was talking about this with a buddy. Somebody said to me, when are you moving to Florida, Bert? I said, June 6th. Now, if I hadn't put that in my statement, guess what my answer would have been? As soon as I get everything wrapped up, as soon as I can, you know, I'm still waiting on a couple things. I'd have 1,001 things to say, but I wouldn't have a deadline. Whatever you repeat to yourself, Napoleon Hill in the chapter on autosuggestion, which is chapter 4, said, even a lie repeated often enough becomes the truth. So what we do is we focus on telling ourselves what we want in our lives. We visualize it through the use of the statement. The statement is everything. If you haven't read the book, go to online. You can go online and there are recordings, and this is the one that I would recommend. I think I still have it here. Let me just see. Listen to the recording. Let's go here. Just go to YouTube, type in Think and Grow Rich. And I like to use one specific set of audios because they are broken down by chapter. And so this is the one that I listen to if I want to listen about autosuggestion. So whatever it is, you know, you need to read the material. You need to understand the concepts, and you need to begin immediately to set your goals in all 4 areas. And of course, money is important because we are in a capitalistic society, and every single thing that you want in life is going to require money. You need a roof over your head, you need a car, you need health insurance, you need food, shelter, everything requires money. So you need to focus on developing a money consciousness. And that's what Napoleon Hill spoke about, a money consciousness. And so with our mastermind group consists of 54 people throughout the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Denmark, and it's a group of people that meet every morning at a specific time, and we read our statement to each other, and then I usually add some additional information to help clarify how to accelerate the process so that we achieve our goals faster. But if you are not involved in this process of having a clear statement of what you want in life for the next 12 months, if you don't have the be, do, have in your statement, and if you're not affirming it every day, you will never achieve what you want because you'll get pulled this way and that way. You see, Tony Robbins says that people zigzag. Well, the reason people zigzag is because they don't know what they want. I mean, I spoke to somebody who has spent over $500,000, $500,000 on personal development. They're a Tony Robbins Platinum Partner, which costs $10,000 per month for a year. That's $120,000. This individual is making almost $1 million a year. So for them, it's not a big deal. But even having spent $500,000 in personal development, when I asked them what their goals were, they were as clear as anybody who isn't in my group. I want to make more money. I want to do this. That's not going to get it there. A hazy goal will produce at best a hazy result. A definite, clear goal will produce a definite, clear result. So I ask you, what do you want? Do you want a hazy result, or do you want a definite, clear result? Do you want to accomplish your goals in life? Listen, everything in this book is relevant today as it was over 60, 70 years ago. if not more so.
Beyond natural, breaking free effects of these committed and truth unbreakable. When we say real, we do the first.
So I encourage you all to begin the process of reading Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to post a link, and I'm going to give away a copy of Think and Grow Rich. Where the hell is that coming from? Okay. So I have, so I will give away a copy, and this way you'll be on my notification list. If you'd like also to find out more about writing out your statement, if you'd like to find out more about the Mastermind group, just go to the event post for this event and put on there, hey, Bert, I'd like more information about creating a definite main purpose statement, or hey, Bert, I'd like to have more information about your Mastermind group because I want to really go right to the next level. The Mastermind group is called the Next Level Mastermind Group, and it's called that for a particular reason. And I'll be more than happy to share with you what's involved in the definite main purpose statement. And of course, I'd be more than happy to explain to you more information about the Mastermind group. The Mastermind group is not available to everybody. It has to be a mutual, what's the right word? A mutual, it has to be a win-win. We have to gain something from your presence, and you have to gain something from ours, because we have a lot of powerful, powerful people in our mastermind. Part of the process of the mastermind is, I'll give you an idea. Henry Ford had a mastermind group, and Henry Ford started his business with absolutely zero capital. His mastermind group consisted of 3 people. Thomas Edison, who is still today an inventor that has more patents than any other inventor in human history, I believe. I don't know if Tesla beat him out. I don't think so. John Wanamaker, who was the Walmart of his day, and the third person was, I forget. Edison, Wanamaker. Oh, Harvey Firestone, which makes sense because Ford was in the automobile business. Harvey Firestone, who basically dominated the tire market for many, many years. Napoleon Hill credits 3 people for learning the strategies. Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 people, but of those 500, 3 people, actually 4 people, were the most instrumental in creating this formula for success. The first one, of course, was Andrew Carnegie. And Andrew Carnegie had a secret to his success, and he told Napoleon Hill what it was when he first interviewed him in 1908. And he said, the reason that I was successful, I was a broke guy from Scotland, didn't even speak English well. He said, the first thing I did is I created a definite main purpose for myself, and that was to create a steel company, an iron company. And the second thing I did is I created a mastermind group of people that would aid me in creating plans, accountability, support, and motivation. His mastermind group consisted of between 20 to 50 people. The 4 people, the other person was Edwin Barnes. Edwin Barnes was an individual that went to work for Thomas Edison. He was essentially a bum. He had no job. He went to work for Edison, and he worked for him for 5 years, pushing a broom around the Edison laboratory in Orange, New Jersey. And his goal, if you read the book in the first chapter of Desire, was to become a partner with Edison. And Edwin Barnes eventually got his opportunity to become a partner with Edison, and he made millions selling the Edison dictograph. The third person that he associated heavily with was Henry Ford. And he spent a great deal of time over at the Ford plant learning and listening to Henry Ford. And of course, by association, he spent a lot of time with Thomas Edison. So these are the kind of minds that influence this. And today, the wealthiest man on earth is still John D. Rockefeller, which is one of the people that Napoleon Hill spent time with. The second wealthiest man on earth in history is Andrew Carnegie. The third is Cornelius Vanderbilt. So Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Zuckerberg, Joseph Bezos from Amazon, they're not even close. Rockefeller's wealth is still 5 times greater than Bill Gates. Andrew Carnegie's wealth is 3 times greater than Bill Gates. So these people knew something, and people like Mark Cuban, Barbara Cochran, Tony Robbins, Joseph McClendon, Daymon John, Cactus Jack. I mean, the list of people that have used Think and Grow Rich to become wealthy is, I mean, I write success stories and I post them in the Think and Grow Rich community like page. And if you're not a member of that, I encourage you to go to Facebook in the search engine and look for the Think and Grow Rich community page. And I have tons of content there about success stories from people. Oprah Winfrey, Think and Grow Rich. She's the only female billionaire on Forbes' list. I don't know if the gal from Facebook has surpassed her yet, but I'll be interesting to find out when the new Forbes come out. But in any case, I thank everybody that was on the call, and I hope that you now understand what is the secret to succeeding in life. And the first thing is you must decide on what you want. You must pick out a 12-month goal in all 4 areas. How much do you want to earn? What you want your health and fitness to be like, what you want your relationships to be like, and what you want to be your contribution, growth, or spiritual goals. And then you must begin the process of affirming it every day in the way that works, the way that Alan has taught us. Alan has been saying his statement for over 30 years now, and he learned the correct way to say it, and nobody else teaches this. Bob Proctor, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins. Tony gets the closest. Tony gets the closest. I give him props. But he doesn't, unfortunately, focus on telling people that the key to permanent change is repetition of instructions or orders to the subconscious mind in an emotionalized method or emotionalized way. And so, again, I'm going to reiterate, if you'd like to know more about the Mastermind, post something in the event, in the comments in the event. If you'd like to know more about the definite main purpose statement and the template, post there as well. And I'd like to thank everybody for being on the call on this Memorial Day weekend. And I'd like to salute anybody who, like myself, has served our country, and for all those people who have served and given their life. Sorry. Brings back memories.
Thanks, Bert.
And Bert, to you, I'd like to acknowledge you and thank you for your service, as well as all people who have served and have served.
Yes, especially those that never made it back. Thank you again, everyone, for being on the call. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.